Welcome to the DC Daily Drop, your one-stop shop for today's important news in DC movies, TV, and comics. Here are your hosts, Tom and Zach.
Welcome to a Monday, April 10th edition of the DC Daily Drop. I'm Tom.
And I'm Zach.
And we got a lot to get to today. Well, not really, but we got some stuff to get to. Let's be honest. Not a ton of news, but there is some news. Starting with Box Office Pro. They do a lot of stuff with box office stuff. I don't know if you know that, Zach, but they did release their first long-range box office tracking for Wonder Woman. We're probably eight weeks out or so.
Yeah,
that's when they do this, and their projections were, and they're a legit company. They do a lot of research into this and a lot of data. It's really hard to predict, 2 months out what a box office is going to be, but they do a really good job with it, all things considering. Looking at social media and buzz and everything like that. So the domestic predictions, these are domestic numbers, U.S. only, but it's got 83 million for the opening weekend and 225 million total is their predictions.
that would be a pretty good opening weekend. I think, I don't know, I guess 225 domestic seems kind of low total. I think it'll probably get close to the BVS Suicide Squad, like right in the 300 range maybe. But maybe I'm being way too optimistic. But I don't think that's out of the question.
I wouldn't say out of the question. I think, me personally, I think the guesses on these, the projections for a lot of people, not counting this Box Office Pro, but a lot of people have said, big numbers for Wonder Woman. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see 700-800 million. I think that's insane. Now, having said that, if it gets rave reviews and great buzz, anything's possible. But and they get into it, they talk about the pros. It's Wonder Woman and icon, and how the market's kind of craving for a female-led superhero, and it's got good buzz so far on social media, and it's positive buzz. So a lot of people are talking about it, and they're talking about it in a good way. But the negatives being, the previous DCEU films haven't been critical successes, and they wonder if that will take something away from it. And it's also got, less chatter than Suicide Squad. But yeah, I think 83 million would be great. That would be a great success. That would be half of Batman v Superman's on less than half the budget. Mm-hmm. Let's remember this here. So just to compare their previous Box Office Pro's previous numbers, they predicted Man of Steel for 108 million on their long-range forecast. It turned out to be 116. Batman v Superman, they predicted 154. Turned out to be 166. Suicide Squad's the only one where they were really off significantly. They predicted 98 million, and it turned out to be 133 opening weekend. So they're pretty good. That doesn't mean they can't get it wrong, but that's a pretty good number, and I think this would be a great number. And let me tell you why it would be a great number, Zach. I did some research on this. As far as I can tell, I went to Box Office Mojo just to kind of compare these numbers, and it would be the number 5. Based on this number, it would be the number 5 solo film debut for a superhero of all time, not far off from number 4. And out of those 5 films, it would be the second lowest budget, other than Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
So Deadpool's got the lowest budget, and then the other films I think were all much higher than the 100 to 120 that has been. That was Mark Hughes who said that number. It would be the number 1. And this is for solo film debut, by the way. I don't know if I said this. So a character getting their own film. Mm-hmm. It would be the number 1 female-led film, obviously by far. And it would actually be the number 1 debut for a WB DC solo film. So, that's not counting reboots, obviously. But even if you count reboots, only Man of Steel would be higher for the first solo film for a character. But it's,
yeah, and
I guess,
and you're talking about opening weekend, correct?
Yes, this is all opening weekend. So, obviously that's not saying much because there hasn't been a lot of DC solo films, because we're talking about not adjusting for inflation for Superman 78,
right?
Batman 89, and what else we got? Supergirl, Catwoman, Green Lantern. That's all I can think of right now. I guess we got Jonah Hex, and there's some other ones, but yeah. So that would be 5 times stronger, basically, than any female-led comic book film in terms of superheroes. So Catwoman, It's 5 times stronger than Catwoman, which is the current gold standard for female-led. I think it made 17 million opening weekend. V for Vendetta, though, was led by Natalie Portman, I believe, and that made about 25 million opening weekend. But the only female-led superhero film, really, I would count would be Supergirl, and that would be about 15 times that.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a groundbreaking film. That's not telling us anything we know, but I think it's been reported that, it's the lowest of the DCEU films, but it's also a significantly lower budget than any of them. So this would be a massive success, 83 million and 225 million total. If it gets, near that 500 plus million dollar range total, it's a success, especially with the competition it's going to be facing.
Definitely. And I guess you have all your facts and your figures and whatnot, but I really wanted to get to like 700 million or something like that. That would be amazing. But 500 million obviously would not be a disappointment in any way, like you said.
Yeah. I'd love for it to get big too, but I'm just trying to look at reasonable facts here. And I think Suicide Squad is a lot of people want to compare it to that because it's the most recent thing. But Suicide Squad had a massive cast, like A-list talent, and a diverse cast that really pulled in a lot of people. Obviously not great reviews, so Wonder Woman could pass it there. But it also had a bit of the female-led vibe to it because, Harley is arguably the co-star of that with Deadshot. So, yeah, we should definitely revise our predictions for, we did one, 6 months out?
Yeah.
Our box office predictions. We should do a new one of that. I'm curious to see what yours would be.
Isn't that what we're doing right now?
I guess we are. What would your prediction be now?
Do you remember what I said before? I think I said 750 before. I'm going to come down from that.
I think you said 700, 750.
All right. I'm going to say 600. 600 million total. 600, 650.
I think I said 550. I'm not sure on that.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to stick with that.
I want it to break 90 opening weekend, which the good thing is about all of the predictions, like you're saying, they're pretty close, but they were all under by a little bit, and they're tracking for 83. So 90 wouldn't be that crazy off from what they predicted.
Yeah, I would love for it to hit 100.
Yeah.
That would be insane, and that would be a runaway success. But even 83 is really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I said 550 before. I'll have to double check that, but I would probably stay with that 550 worldwide, which would be a great success.
Yeah. And then, but there's still going to be the people saying like, oh, well, this needs to hit 1 billion, or, DC's done.
It's amazing. Like you'll hear people say that for every movie, but it's amazing how many I've heard say that for Wonder Woman. Trust me, I would love to see Wonder Woman
Right.
make $1 billion. But that's just excessive. I would be, if it got close to Suicide Squad numbers, I think it's a knockout hit.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for the box office talk.
Yeah. So we have just a little bit of news. Other than that, we talked a while ago about Hulu was putting together a documentary about Bill Finger, one of the creators of Batman, and it's set to premiere Sunday, May 6th. And the synopsis that they have listed is, everybody thinks that Bob Kane created Batman, but that's not the whole truth. One author makes it his crusade to seek justice for Bill Finger, a struggling writer who is the key figure in creating the iconic superhero, from concept to costume to the very character we all know and love. Bruce Wayne may be Batman's secret identity, but his creator was always a true mystery. Directed and executive produced by Don Argett and Sheena M. Joyce.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this turns out. Bill Finger is obviously a crucial part of Batman's creation, origin in the early days of his career. So I'm glad we get to see more of that, and he's finally getting his due, along with Bob Kane, for creating Batman. And I don't know how this documentary turns out. I hope it's good, but if not, it'll at least be good to get some more information on everything.
Yeah.
And on to TV news. WGN's Scalp pilot has officially started filming. Director Adil El Arbi confirmed this on Twitter. They started on April 1st, and there's a link in the show notes if you want to see a little behind-the-scenes photo for the first day on set there. But yeah, so it's filming now. I would guess it would be close to wrapped up by this point, and then we'll see when we get information in terms of when this could actually air, or if it's been picked up to series or what.
Yeah, we've gotten just a lot of little bit of pieces of news about Scalped, but it's just good to kind of have that little stream of stuff constantly coming in to know that it's getting pretty close to coming out. So I'm excited to see what they do with it. It's a pretty interesting concept.
Yeah, and you never know when we're gonna hear more, because we're still waiting for news on Krypton, and that film in October, I think, and we haven't gotten really anything since that film. So hopefully this doesn't take that long.
And then just our last little piece of thing, we had a Twitter question from Jesse W72838902. Thoughts on this rumor plot of the Batman Black Mask is the main villain, with Joker and Harley having a subplot?
Yeah, so this is the link it goes to there. It was this is just looks like fan fiction from DCEU leaks. Well, I mean, it could be real. There's maybe a 1 in a million chance it's actually a DC insider who's posting there, but it's on. It was posted, by an anonymous user on Reddit, so we have no idea. Plus, it was posted in August 2016, long before. So the actual accuracy of this is very much in question, and we mentioned that because there was news sites running with a recent Reddit leak, quote unquote, which is just bunch of. Looks like mostly fan fiction, but they, the rumor that maybe there's 4 Batman films in 2019. They said Batman, Nightwing, Batman, Nightwing, Batgirl, and Gotham City Sirens all coming out in 2019. Which, I mean, that's theoretically possible, but I think that's more an educated guess on the part of a fan. But having said all that, what would you think of this actual plot?
I mean, I would be fine with that plot. I mean, I want to see Black Mask as a villain at some point. I don't know about the Joker Harley subplot in the movie. I don't know. Yeah, I want to see Black Mask. I don't know about Joker and Harley in this Batman movie.
What do you got against Joker and Harley?
I don't want to see them in something else. They're gonna be in it. They're gonna be in Gotham City Sirens. They're gonna be in Suicide Squad 2. I want to see some other Batman family villains.
Well, maybe Harley is, but we don't know that Joker's going to show up in those places.
I do. I saw it on the leaks.
Oh, okay. you are the leak.
I'm the leaker. It's coming from inside.
But I'm never against more Joker and Harley.
Yeah.
I don't want just Joker and Harley, but if them having a subplot, if it makes sense, I'm totally cool with that. Yeah, and sort of the plot would be Black Mask sort of having Batman fight all his villains. That sounds like something more Deathstroke or Bane would do. So it's possible Black Mask hired one of them. But it's an interesting idea to do that. I think Black Mask would be a better fit elsewhere. I'd be kind of disappointed if he was the main villain in a Batman
I think he's
movie.
good
Maybe
for Nightwing.
Nightwing or Gotham City Sirens. We thought maybe David Ayer. We don't have confirmation on that, but maybe that's who he has planned for Gotham City Sirens, and I think it would be a good fit there too. So I think there's a lot of good options, and if you told me pretty much any Batman villain, I probably wouldn't be too disappointed and could get behind it.
Yeah.
But I guess we've got a while before we know what Matt Reeves is thinking on this film.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that is all we've got for today. We will be back tomorrow with our review of Teen Titans: The Judas Contract, so look out for that then.
Thanks for listening, and make sure to check out DC Daily Drop on Twitter, Facebook, and DCDailyDrop.com. Drop by tomorrow for more DC news.